Okay, so today I wanted to discuss the a little bit of advice about the SAT. It's a standardized test and it's used to get into most colleges, along with the ACT as well. But I feel as if the SAT is more approachable than the ACT personally to me, but not doesn't have to be personal for you. You can choose either that you want to pick. So it's best to choose both, honestly, than just choosing one, because that way you get the feel for both, and colleges will look at you and be like, oh, you took both. So they both apply different areas that of your mind that like you're typically not tested upon. The SAT focuses more on tricky questions and abstract questions in the math sections, and in the English sections it's tricky as well. So the English sections are typically the reading comprehension and the writing section, and the math is just straightforward math along with some grid-in questions. The grid-in questions typically they don't take off points for getting those wrong, which is why they're more of a plus for you. You get 1/4 of a point off if you get something wrong on the multiple choice. So but then when we really get down to it, the proper advice would be to just relax and don't be nervous when you take the test. Otherwise, you might flip out and you might miss something. Just relax. Remember the strategies that you've probably been taught. You don't always have to take a prep course for the SAT. Personally, myself, I have a few books on it and I'm able to do well. So I recommend the Kaplan books and the Princeton Review books to assist you with the SAT. The SAT really boils down to the basic standardized test that you've probably always been taking all your life. You just have to apply practice. Practice is essential for the SAT. Strategies plus practice allow you to get a good score. But with the certain strategies, they can be a little tricky and hard to remember. So you have to customize it for yourself in order to be able to remember certain things. If you're good with words and other stuff, and if you don't know your vocabulary right away, then you should come up with something to memorize it. Because the vocab honestly isn't going to be as straightforward as it should be, but there are ways around it. When you take the strategies, there are clue words to tell you if it's either going to be like the same positive word or same neutral word or same whatever word. So that kind of boils down to that. And then the math sections are abstract math. It's not what you basically learned in high school. It's a different application of it that you normally wouldn't think of. So then the writing section is grammar. And honestly, the grammar is not always easy to spot, but most of the problems it's going to be really easy, certainly. If you understand how to like basic grammar, you're good at English, then the grammar section is going to be really good for you. And usually with grammar, they typically just have like certain type of errors and error usage with all these words. Some words are even confused, like affect and effect. Those are confused, and access and excess. Those are confused too. But the writing section is very straightforward, except for a few exceptions, and those exceptions you have to be very, very careful about. But then you just revise paragraphs after that, and the revisions are typically easy to make. You just want to make it short and sweet. And then the writing section also has the essay. The essay is usually a question of morals or some sort of massive, well-known question. You can either put personal experiences, works of literature, or historic example into it. Typically, they don't want you to do the personal experience too much. The personal experience you can do, as in you can use the personal pronouns I, but you might want to try to refrain from using that as it looks a little unprofessional. And when you're doing the SAT essay, you might want to use either two works of literature, two historic events, and then one other of the other. But typically, you don't really want to use the personal experience. So that's what it really comes down to. And you just have to be really careful on the test. And if you're coming up with ways to memorize things, try not to be that person that annoys people in the testing room. You don't want to disturb the testing room because everyone should be entitled to their own, quiet testing. So that's basically it for SAT advice. If you need specific advice and strategies on vocab sections, math section, anything, reading comprehension and writing, then I can be of assistance. So just ask. But good luck.